YayKay here. What's up? So, I'm going to be doing today's Thursday, so next Friday, not meaning this to me. So, here's an argument for terminology, first of all. When people say this Friday, they mean the coming Friday, like the one that's the first one that you get to. That's what this Friday means. When you say next Friday, that means the one after that one. It always drives me nuts when people say next Friday, but they mean the one that's like tomorrow. I'm like, no! This Friday means the one that's coming. Next Friday means the one after this Friday. Pet peeve. Anyway, end of rant. The more you know. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Anywho, okay, rant over. So basically, next Friday, I'm going to be having a procedure done. They call it a procedure, not a surgery. Excuse me. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. So, this is going to be a little bit of TMI. So, if you don't want the TMI, don't watch this video. I'm going to talk about a health ailment I have. And it's about girl parts. So, if you don't want to hear about girl parts, this video is not for you. So, Zippo, plop off. Totally okay, you don't want to watch this. Ready? I'm going to give you 3 seconds. Okay, so I like to call it a condition. Just kidding. So I have uterine fibroids. About 40% of women get uterine fibroids. And what that is it's extra muscle tissue on your uterus. 40% of women get this. Now, the 40% who get it have different, variations of it, because some people have little, like a couple fibroids, they call them fibroids, things of muscle tissue, extra things of muscle tissue that grow on your uterus. So some are big, some are small. I have 5, and one of mine is 7 inches long, or was it 5? Either way, that's sizable. Like, that is a big piece of whatever. That is big to me. And, mine are called medium-sized. If it's 5 inches and it's medium-sized, gentlemen, you are doing well. But anyway, so I have symptoms because of these things. Some people get symptoms, some people don't. Again, this is going to be TMI, but in case there are other people who are struggling with this, just so you know, these things happen. So, the first symptoms that I had maybe about 2 years ago, I'm 43, so when I was 41, I would have, it was kind of felt like menstrual cramps, right? Because women get those during their period, right? But I would get them all the time, like off and on. I would notice them, like I would have it almost all the time, but it wouldn't be enough for me to notice, like I could ignore it. But for some reason, the last, and it was on and off. And I was working out at the time, so I thought it was just muscle, being tight, because I was working out a lot. I was, benching, a bunch of weight, and I was squatting over 200 pounds at the time. So I just thought it was muscle soreness, right? Because that would make sense to me. It works your core, so that area would be pissed. I just figured that's what it was. So when I took a 5-month hiatus from working out and it didn't get better, that's kind of when I started going, And I also started to get a little bit of lower back pain, which I also attributed to working out, because lifting hefty weights. When you deadlift, you lift with your knees, and if you screw it up, you screw up by lifting with your back. And so I was like, well, maybe my lower back's mad because I've been deadlifting 200 pounds. Sure, that would make sense to me. So again, during the hiatus, that didn't get better. But I'm also a plus-size woman. So I figure being a plus-size woman, my lower back's going to hurt because it's carrying around a bunch of weight. Sure. So then, once I stopped working out for a little while, and I noticed that it still hurt, I went to the doctor and had them look at it, and then took us some time and some procedures and whatnot over the next year to just kind of slowly figure it out. Well, right when we started to figure out what it was, I had 2 overnight incontinence issues. And that, for people who don't know what incontinence is it means that you wee when you didn't want to. So it was just like a trickle, because I woke up and it was like clench, because you like seriously you're like, oh my god, I'm peeing. So I had that twice overnight in the last year. That was twice too many. I know that's eventually comes with old age, but I was hoping to wait till later. But anyway, so that happened. So I was like, well, that's not great. So I think that happened maybe in the last maybe that was in the last 5 months, maybe more accurately. I had that. And then within the last 2 or 3 months, I've occasionally had pain while orgasming. That's been one of those symptoms that people don't bring up that I really did not enjoy. It's not always. It's kind of like when you're having your orgasm, it's like you're having muscle spasms, right? So my uterus gets tight and it goes ow, 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 ow. So you're not really enjoying yourself. So that's when I'm like, yeah. So when are we gonna get this fixed? Because then once I hit that symptom, I'm like, we have to fix this ASAP. I'm not waiting. This is not any amount of ibuprofen will fix this problem. I have to get this fixed. 911. So talked to my doctor, and we had an ultrasound, and then we figured out exactly how many fibroids I had, how big they were. And I was like, okay, so what are we going to do about it? And I really thought that you would just do a hysterectomy and just take the whole uterus out. I figured that would just be the go-to nowadays. But apparently the side effects and the risks are pretty they're more numerous than I thought, especially nowadays. I thought it would be kind of yeah, you just pluck that sucker out and you go, right? I thought it would be maybe an overnight hospital stay, and then maybe 2-3 weeks recoup or something, but 5 days. I just didn't think it'd be that much. But anyway, it's supposed to be I think you're bedridden for a week, I think it was, but then it was 5 to 6 weeks recoup time. And I was like, I can't take 5 to 6 weeks off. I can't not work for 5 or 6 weeks and pay for that surgery. So they gave me 4 other options, and I'm not going to go into all of them because I will go into them maybe in a different video for the people who have uterine fibroids and they want to know what their options are. I'll go into that in a different video so you don't have to hear about it. But basically the one I'm going to do next Friday is called a uterine fibroid embolization? I think that's what it is. But embolization was the key word, is that basically they're going to go up through your femoral arteries. And there's 4 arteries that provide blood to your uterus. So what they do is they go in through your the artery in your thigh, and then they fill 2 out of 4 blood vessels, arteries, with these pellets, kind of I don't know if they're plastic pellets, but they fill them with plastic pellets so the blood flow stops through 2 of the arteries. So what the uterus does is over time, over the next month or so, it compensates and figures out, oh, these 2 aren't working, so then it takes more blood from the other 2. So it's smart enough to figure that out. So it adapts very easily, so it's kind of not as much of a panic as it sounds. So that's what it does. So because it cuts off the blood flow, your uterus is still good to go, in case you got pregnant or whatever, it still works because it has blood supply. But the fibroids doesn't get enough blood because there's just not enough. So since they're not getting fed, they slowly die or get smaller, which in theory is supposed to help or hopefully cure your symptoms. Now it's all just kind of it's not a fix it all that ends it all, because everyone has different reactions. Where it's I think it was 70% because I'm medium sized for my fibroids. It's a 70% succession rate that you're going to tell that there's a difference. Whether it's either going to get better or it's going to go away completely. The other 30% just either don't notice a difference or it just doesn't get worse. So either way, it's a good option because the cramping is enough for me to be annoyed, but it's okay still for me to ignore it. It's just when I'm on my period, it's like more intense. So I actually have to pop ibuprofen during that time, which I used to not always have to. So there's definitely a difference in pain. And sometimes there are mornings where, because of the way your plumbing is, for some reason, if I have to go, like, again, TMI here, but there's a couple mornings where I've had to do a number 2. And I've had to do it enough that my uterine area cramps so hard that it's like, it wakes me up. Where I'm just like, ow, 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 ow. Because it's just compact full of stuff. And it wants to get rid of something. So that's when it's really kind of painful to the point of where it wakes me up. So that's kind of like, it's one of those things where, is it a pain in the butt all the time? No, but it's enough to affect my life to the point of where I don't like it. And it will only get worse. And the only reason why I'm doing a procedure at all is because the fibroids will continue to grow until you hit menopause. That's the catch-22, is that my symptoms were only going to worsen. Because since I'm 43 and in my family, generally speaking, we hit menopause in our early 50s. I still had 7 years to go at least before I hit menopause. So once you hit menopause, your uterus shuts down, so the fibroids would go away anyway. But I couldn't hold out another 7 years. I just couldn't do it. Another 7 years of and it could get worse. I was like, no. No, sorry, Bob. So that's why I'm having this procedure next Friday. I have cat hair everywhere, I'm sorry. I hugged Phil before I left the house. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So just so you know, I'm having a procedure done, and it is a overnight hospital stay. And I'm not scared of hospitals, but I am nervous because it's my first hospital stay. And again, it's for pain management, because that's the other thing is the pain is going to be unpredictable. They said there are people who have small fibroids and they've had the worst pain they've ever had. There are people who've had giant fibroids and had barely any pain at all. That they're never sure what your pain level's going to be. And they don't want you to be in pain, so they keep you overnight so they can give you the right amount of drugs for your pain level. So that's the only reason why there's a hospital stay. Otherwise, it would be probably an in and out procedure. It's just they want you to be comfortable, so they keep you overnight to make sure that you're not going to be bellied over going, I'm dying, which is actually, I think, kind of nice of them. So, bless their hearts, right? So yeah, so that's my personal stuff going on. I always like to just keep you guys updated because A, it's always nice to know how people are doing, and B, there are other people out there who have this scenario where you don't know what it is and you're not sure if you should care about it or whatever. So I just figured I'd put out a video for the people who aren't sure about uterine fibroids, give them some info. Again, I'll do another video detailing what I remember about the other procedures, just so you have it on record in case you need it. But anyway, so, happy thoughts and prayers for me for next Friday, I guess. But again, not worried. There's not a ton of risks. There's always the 1% chance you could go infertile. But it's kind of I'm 43. I don't really want to spawn right now anyway, because let's face it, if I had a child right now, it'd be oh, here, come back, Johnny. Don't run into the street, but I can't chase you because I'm big and older. And so it'd be no, Johnny, don't go onto the street. And the kid would just be ah! Car. I can't catch them because I'm older and not 20 and chasing you down. That kid would have an expiration date. So let's not spawn right now anyway. No, Johnny, no. Ah! Yeah, anyway, that wouldn't be cute. But, so not a big deal if that would happen. But it's a 1% chance, but again, that's fine. I love children. I just don't want to spawn when I'm 43. What is it? They graduate from high school and you're either not around anymore or you're old as crap and they think you're the grandma. Yeah, that's always good for your kid's psyche. Again, no judgment, but I'm just saying that I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. But anywho, so I will talk to you guys soon, and I hope you have a lovely day. Yeah, I mean, do that. I mean, that's your job, right? Have a lovely day. Do your best. Okay, bye.